Hi everyone, it's me Hatsy, and today I'm back with another speed build. This time we are going to be building Rapunzel's tower from the Disney movie Tangled. Now before I start, I've been getting asked a lot recently about how I can be contacted other than YouTube and Twitter. And there is a direct method that I've found that works for me. It's absolutely perfect. It's a free app on the App Store. You can get it on Android and you can also get it on iPhone. It's called Amino. So if you haven't heard of this app, it's basically an app where you can socialize with people that are like-minded. You can find tips, tutorials, new channels. You can also socialize with other YouTubers. There are a lot of big names using the app already, and it's really, really cool to see the community being brought together a lot. So I definitely wanted to tell you about this app, and I think we're gonna have some fun on there. So I have my own profile, which you can come and find me off. Leave me a message and we can have a good old chat. Anyway, this is Rapunzel's tower. So this was the most requested thing off the Twitter polls that I've been doing recently. And I really, really wanted to do the most requested thing. So it won by a ridiculous amount. And I thought, okay, I've got to do it. It was actually pretty difficult though, because we don't have spiral staircases in The Sims 4. So I actually had to use normal staircases. I, of course, did have two options. I had the option of making it look realistic without including ways that the Sims can get up. Maybe they would teleport, maybe they wouldn't, maybe it would just be for decoration. Or I could do it being a fully functioning house, and you could use it. You could have Mother Gothel here, you could have a kitchen, a bathroom, pretty much everything. Okay, a bedroom as well, I forgot that part. But you could have everything here that the Sims would need, and you could use it like a normal build. So I actually wanted to do that rather than just make it for decoration. Of course, you could have it for decoration, and what you could do by actually using it for decoration is you could delete the whole back part of this tower just by having the individual tower, and you could make sure that the Sims teleports, or maybe you wouldn't want to do that. Anyway, I was readjusting the roofing at this point. The roofing was actually one of the most changed things during the build that I did. And that was because it took absolutely forever. I went through so many ideas for the roofing. I really, really did. I also watched the whole of the film whilst doing the speed build, and that was amazing because I really, really love the film Tangled. Initially, I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it when I first saw it come out. I thought, no, it's probably not the right film for me. I would probably maybe prefer, like, I guess, Brave or another film like that. But I absolutely loved it. I was so surprised, and I loved the storyline with it. It was just so unpredictable throughout. The storyline does have a darker slant on it though, and it is a scary thought of a child being taken from the parents. I mean, I do not want to make this video sound upsetting or anything. I don't want to upset anyone. But genuinely, the most frightening thought when I was younger was being taken from my parents. Like, that was the most upsetting thing that I could ever think of. So when I used to watch Rapunzel, I always used to get frightened at it. And the original Rapunzel used to scare me a lot more than when I watched Tangled, I feel like, anyway. I feel like with Tangled now, I think it's got a lot of a brighter slant on things, or at least that's how I feel. So it feels a lot happier. Like, you can see that she's got Pascal, she's got a friend. Mother Gothel does seem to care for her in a really strange, evil way. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Rapunzel. But anyway, it was a lot of fun to create a tower. And what I was also trying to do is I was trying to fit all the details around the back. So you will notice that as well. When it does come to adding staircases and stuff, it's all around the back. So you actually won't see it from the front whatsoever. If you did actually want to play with this build on your own game and stuff, you wouldn't have that problem. Like, you wouldn't be interfering with staircases and stuff unless you rotated it round to the back, which could be pretty interesting. I didn't actually have enough room to put all the staircases in, so I did actually end up changing the plot. I actually had to, because it was getting out of control. I needed a bigger plot to work with, and this plot was so small. I really didn't think ahead. I didn't even know that I was going to use staircases for it, to be honest. It is nice to be able to get back to sharing videos though on YouTube that are longer, because I don't think I've shared a long speed build in probably over a week, which I know that a lot of people have been asking why. It's because I have been ill and I feel a lot better now, so if you're wondering, yeah, that is the reason. So I also got a lot of messages saying, don't worry, I have been feeling ill too. I've had a fever, I've had a cold. It wasn't any of those things. It was actually the fact that I have severe low blood pressure. So sometimes I have very low energy to do things. It also just meant that I've been feeling dizzy all week. So I've sort of been staying away from the computer just because I've been having these dizzy spells. But I've got it sorted now. So thank you to everyone that has like wished me better and stuff, because it honestly means the world. And yeah, I've had some pretty big news this week, which is really interesting. And I'm excited to be able to share it with you. So it turns out that I may be moving back to England pretty soon. soon, which I am so excited about. I'm excited about moving back with my family and friends because I've missed them a lot. And also the place that I'm living at the moment starts to get really odd. There's been a lot of stuff that's made me feel uneasy, and I think there's like 3 main story times which I genuinely can't wait to do when I leave, because as soon as that happens, I'm going to be doing like so many story times on the channel. I just don't feel like I can yet because of the amount of people that I'm surrounded by, because there have been times when people have actually listened to me recording and then they've repeated stuff back to me that I've said whilst I'm recording, and they're like, okay, why did you say that in your video? So it's really, really creepy. But yeah, I think one of the main problems that I've got is one of the neighbours has had a problem with me and my dog since I probably moved in. But she doesn't like my dog for some reason. I have no idea why. He's never done anything, but I think a few weeks ago it started again, like this trouble with her, when she parked a caravan full of people outside my house. But not only that though, the caravan window looked directly through my house, so I could pretty much see everybody in that caravan. I could see what they were doing. They were blatantly cooking. I could see frying pans and all sorts. Not to be nosy, if it's gonna overlook my lounge window, I'm gonna look. So yeah, anyway, that was happening. So I did complain, and I complained pretty peacefully as well. I asked them first to move it and they pretended that they didn't understand me, and that's fine. I did try my best to speak it in German. But then I went and complained properly, and she went crazy. She stood outside my house for like 30 minutes, just like holding her fist up at me. It was the oddest thing ever. And then she's been like banging on my windows since and stuff, but she's just like a really aggressive person, and I've never wanted to surround myself with that amount of drama. And I would definitely say that if anyone else is having problems with aggressive people, just leave them to it. Just leave them to it, because their life's never going to get any better. Like, this woman's never going to change. She's going to be miserable for a very long time. Don't want to depress things. Feel like I am. But I genuinely love sharing my stories with you. And it's something I'm definitely looking forward to when I do move, because I feel like I'll be able to share a lot more with you. Like the fact that I have had people around the property looking in my bins, which is insane. Genuinely can't wait to share that story with you though. Anyway, back to the build. This is when I was trying to put on the ivy. I was making sure the landscaping really fitted in with the area. So you notice a lot of trees around the build, and that was just because I wanted to blend it all in. I just think that Winterberg is such a beautiful area. Something that I noticed as well, those trees in the background, don't they remind you of Granite Falls? I don't know if they're the same trees that we use there, but how coincidental is that? Maybe Granite Falls is supposed to be behind there. I have no idea. It would sort of make sense though, because they are, I guess, similar in the areas. I've always found Winterberg to be like a dark, muddy place, and Granite Falls would maybe be the lead on to Winterberg. I'd actually love it if they put all the worlds together so that the Sims could just roam freely. I would adore that so much. I doubt it's going to happen. But to be honest, to have all the Sims just openly using the world, just going into whatever build you wanted, that would be my dream. I have a massive wish list for The Sims 4, and I do say it on pretty much every single video, but never changes, absolutely never changes. Anyway, going back to the staircase behind the build. So at this point, you may have seen what I was working on, something pretty secretive. So it does look as if it does blend in. I feel like this is the best possible solution. If you can think of a solution better than this, let me know, because I would love to hear it. I actually wanted the staircase that way as well, because if I put it the other way, if I put it so it was directly behind the build, so straight on, if that makes sense, then it would have taken the Sims a very long time to be able to walk around, whereas the staircase is just there, so it's not even going to take that long to get into these individual rooms, and I really like the idea of that, so hope that's okay. I was having another readjust of the roofing at this point, because the roofing I just couldn't get right. I was looking at the picture and I was thinking, okay, I really want this massive, like, tall roofing, and it was not working out for me whatsoever. I really hope that in the future, here we go again, I do hope though that we will get taller roofs, because for these pieces, I just wish they could be so much taller. It wouldn't even be that much of a problem, I don't think. I think there's probably mods for it and stuff. But anyway, I was doing the roofing. It was pretty hard though, because a lot of this was just really, really time consuming. And I was just trying to make different ways that I could make it look taller. And in the end, I ended up using some pieces from the roofing option with the Sims 4 get together and stuff to make it look even taller than it was. The strange thing about the build is the fact that it is the same size as one of the towers that I put into Hogwarts. So if you've seen the speed build Hogwarts yet, that's been highly requested for me to do the interior, which will be coming up really soon on the channel. But if you have seen it, then you will notice that there is like a tower there. I feel like it's Gryffindor Tower. Honestly, I don't know my stuff. I have no idea. But it's there, and it's exactly the same size as this, which is pretty cool because I just like the idea of doing that. I actually built them on the same day as well. I had a crazy Saturday where I just felt so much like building, and sometimes that happens. If you ever feel like you don't feel like building sometimes, I just say leave it for another day or two, because there are definitely days that I feel like I want to build more on than others, and I have also had days where I am terrible at building. Genuinely, I go on and I can't even build a box. I'm just like, what do I do? And some days I feel really creative. I feel like I can do things that are out my comfort zone, and they're the days that I build on. So I definitely avoid the times when I'm not feeling it. But this was not one of those times. This was a time when I was definitely feeling like building. I just wanted to build something big, and it just got bigger throughout the day. I was like, okay, let's take on Hogwarts. So that's what I did. Also, I was using some pieces from the Sims 4 get together. I did actually change it around by this point, so there was a little bit of a cut. I actually used the archway from the Sims 4 Romantic Surf. So the same idea with those spikes, I went round with the archways and put them around in a circle. So that's how the roofing actually ended up looking like that. So I think it looks pretty good. It looks as if it's aged and old, and it does fit in with the ivy more or less, and that's what I think anyway. I was also going around and adding the last features. I was also playtesting it as well. I think that with creations like this, it's very important to make sure that you can playtest it. To be able to make the Sims go around and be able to get up this staircase. Oh, it was so hard though. I had a sim, and I think it probably took about 30 minutes to make sure that this staircase was fully functional. It took ages, but it was definitely worth it in the end to be able to see the sim go up all of them and use each individual place. It was fantastic. It was definitely what I wanted, and I was really excited to finish it, to be honest. There's actually a very similar type tower near to where I live. About 20-30 minutes away, there is a ginormous tower. I have no idea what it's there for, but it looks completely broken down. It looks abandoned. It's very strange to look at, but I will take some pictures of it at some point, and I will share them with you, maybe on a stream or something when I do that. But it's the oddest thing, and I've always wanted to look inside it, but then again, I'm a little bit frightened. I don't know if you can, I genuinely don't know, but there are so many abandoned places around the area, around like 20-30 minutes away from us. There are just so many abandoned places. There's actually one place that my husband is terrified of driving past, but he just thinks it just looks so haunted. But it's like an old broken down factory. I think he gets creeped out of factories just because he spends so long in his factory, like where he works and stuff. So I think that is creepy. Like if you're used to something, maybe that would be scary to you. But honestly, it does look a bit creepy. And yeah, I've always been a little bit scared about going into old broken down buildings. I would never do it just because I frighten myself. Like I frighten myself at home when the lights are off. I actually have to run to my room. So I definitely wouldn't be able to do that. But it is pretty interesting to see that. And I feel like there are a lot of towers that are maybe abandoned, and I have seen other abandoned towers like in the past and stuff, especially in Germany, strangely. But then again, Rapunzel is actually inspired off Germany. It's an original German type story, I believe, but I'm not too sure. I do feel like a lot of these stories do have darker, creepier meanings in the first place, and then they changed around for Disney. So I have read some comments and stuff of people saying, oh yeah, you should actually go and see the original meaning of this film, because I know that Ariel had an original story and it was a lot creepier than the Ariel Disney film. So yeah, it just depends. Anyway, I was doing some fancy stuff with the roofing at this point. I don't think that I even understand what I'm doing myself. To be honest, it was very complicated, and I just used so many objects. I tried to make it look neat and tried to make it look like I knew what I was doing, but I genuinely didn't. I was just trying different things to make it look taller, to try and keep to this spike of the tower. I just wanted to make the roofing look really tall. It was such a shame because I actually found a show hidden object which would have been phenomenal for the roofing, and it was the wrong colour. If only we could have changed the colour, it would have looked fantastic. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun just playing around with the gallery photo and stuff. That's something that I do feel is important with these creations. So you know what you're downloading. You know that it's not some just random thing. It's not like a normal house. You know by the picture what it is, and I just wanted to make it look really clear on that. So I think I took a few attempts just to get that right. I don't spend as long on that as I used to. I used to spend hours getting the gallery photo right. I have no idea why, but I sort of know how it's going to look before I even take the screenshot. So yeah, that's what I was doing. Also adding some of these arch pieces from the romantic stuff pack. They are stunning, these little archways, and I really want to create a house with them. I do know that Kaleido, she's another YouTuber, she created like an archway, like a Greek arch, and it looks fantastic. So she has some speed builds on her channel, but I fell in love with that creation. So yeah, you can do some really creative things with those archways, and it always surprises me what the community comes up with. It's great to just see other people's creations and stuff. So yeah, I was definitely excited about using those archways for this creation. And I liked using them in the circular way. I also did it for the main archway of the front. So if you're wondering how I got ivy round the little hole in the middle of the tower, that's how I did it. Little bit strange, but the tower is going to have like an in area. I didn't want to make the inside of the tower room outside, if that makes sense. So it's not going to be outdoors. It's going to be like a separate room outside just to go through another door. Yeah, I mean, it will look a lot easier than it will be when I'm explaining it now, when you actually see it for yourself. But yeah, I was just finishing off. I think at this point, I was pretty much ready to go inside the build though and start on the furnishing. The furnishing really didn't take me that long. What took me the longest was getting this ivy right. I just wanted to get it as accurate as possible, so that definitely took me some time in the build. So a lot of the ivy was changed before I started to do anything else. Anyway, this was the lounge area. I thought it was important to have a lounge area. Maybe this is where Mother Gothel would go herself, so I can't actually imagine Rapunzel going down here. So the idea is that if you wanted this as a house for your family, Rapunzel would probably live in the top of the tower. She wouldn't have to do anything else there because there's like a kitchen, there's a bathroom, there's a bedroom, etc, etc. Hobby things for her to do. But in all these other places, like this room here, this is all for Mother Gothel. So this is her territory and this is where she would live. So just some really evil things like money that I would imagine that she would use to tempt those two thieves that wanted the crown. I don't know, just some evil posts and stuff, like some dark things, maybe nothing related to Rapunzel as well, just everything about herself, maybe a portrait of herself as well, because I always imagine that lady from the Spooky Stuff Pack portrait does look a little bit like Mother Gothel. I know it's a push, but it could work. This was the kitchen, so this is where Mother Gothel would bring Rapunzel her food from. So if you actually wanted to play this like maybe the hidden child challenge and stuff, you could do this. You could genuinely recreate this whole thing. So Mother Gothel would make all the food in here. Rapunzel wouldn't be able to escape the upstairs area. A little bit creepy actually, when I say it like that, but it could definitely work. And this was Rapunzel's room. So it's a pretty big room to be fair, but I'm definitely happy with how big it is. So you can see what I mean here. It's two separate rooms. There's a closed off room, which is inside. And then you get the outside area with the doors, just to make sure that it's not all outside to give like a better look for the inside, I guess. The kitchen ended up being very, very dark and gloomy. And I just added some rugs and details to this place. But yeah, that was the overall look to this. It was supposed to be for Mother Gothel. Rapunzel was not supposed to go down there because she's not supposed to exit this tower whatsoever. So to make that happen, to make it pretty accurate to what would be in here, I just wanted so many skill building items, like everything that she could possibly do to mean that she would have fun in her own free time. So like the art canvas, the easel, I meant to say, the guitar, the chopping board, stuff like that. Just everything that I could imagine that she would want to have. There's also a small table where she sits at with Mother Gothel. I saw it in the movie, so I definitely wanted to put one of those in. Some bookcases and stuff, so you just see me just putting random things up here, just anything that could make it look really, really cluttered. Because if someone was going to live in a room for 18 years, it would have to be, I guess, a very, very packed room full of things, in my opinion, and that's what I would imagine her to have. So loads and loads of items, just like random stuff. I also included Pascal, which was really unusual, but I wanted to find like a lizard, but I think I ended up having maybe a frog. I can't remember, we'll see in a bit. But yeah, anyway, I was working on the bathroom because I also wanted a bathroom here. I wanted to make sure that this space was entirely usable and a sim would be able to live here without any problems, without not being able to use the bathroom, stuff like that. So that was what I decided on, having like a bathroom. So unfortunately, if you did want a bathroom for Mother Gothel, you could either put one outside being in the bushes, or you could make her use the same one as Rapunzel, which would be a little bit odd. Anyway, she has a picture of the floating lanterns, or the closest thing that I could possibly think about, which would be pretty close to floating lanterns. Okay, so I did put some Pascal type reptiles around the room, so not exact, but I really did try, and I'm sure that there are some custom content pieces. I know I keep saying that, but I'm pretty sure if you did want Pascal, then you could of course go and get him. Anyway, I was nearly finished with the room, and the last features that I put in were just some paintings on the walls, some various rugs around. I definitely wanted to include as many as I could. And I think that with the portraits, it just looks a lot better than it did, and I was really excited about it. So the idea would be that Rapunzel would be able to look down the tower and she would be able to see out. But that is the end of the build, so I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see your future speed build. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to go and check out the app Sims Amino. It will be in the description below. Come and speak to me on there, and I will see you all in my next video.